Playing the Soviets in Black Ice was definitely an experience.
No.
The stat difference. Black Ice does an excellent job in making the player truly feel like a Slav during World War II, with how much it wants you to suffer and die. But despite being warned about how hard the Soviets were in this mod, I still tried it anyways. And hopefully you'll enjoy me trying to save this nation in a mod that basically wants it dead. My first mistake was probably messing with the difficulty modifiers. I was worried about the Western Allies being way too sleeper this game, so I gave them a buff to their production and the Axis as well to kind of balance it out. The Soviets have a big focus tree with more being added to it as the game goes on, and at least it is somewhat decently organized, unlike Japan's. And one of the first things you have to think about as the Soviets is the second 5-year plan, where you have some very ambitious goals to build up your industry. And if you don't know, Black Ice has a completely different industry system where you have to extract raw resources and use special factories to refine them into war materials. One thing I know you have to do as the Soviets is standardize your production and templates, because there is no way you can afford to build every equipment in the mod, and many of the templates that the game starts you with are questionable at best, and at worst, well...
Hey! Yeah? What the hell is this?
But these will have to do for some time, because the Japanese are going to be harassing me on our border with these border clashes. And border wars are so funny because I've never seen it happen before where both sides just don't show up. Just imagine what was going on in the Japanese army when they started this attack. In the middle of 1936, Stalin's purge started, and Black Ice just does the purge the old-fashioned way, where all the choices are made through events. And with an all-powerful dictator paranoid of treason across the country, nobody would be safe. The Spanish Civil War started, and of course I wanted to do everything I could to help Spain, but the British created the non-intervention agreement to stop foreign involvement.
Whoa, this is worthless.
With our volunteers on the way, it just dawned on me how delusional these 5-year plan goals really were, because I was sweating. How are we going to meet these objectives? But the mod has that covered. You could just lie about it. Why would I actually try to meet the quotas when I can just tell everyone I did it? Once our thrill-seeking Russian men with no affiliation with Moscow arrived, they started making moves, breaking the fascist lines. Those adventurers were able to do wonders with the little equipment they brought, like heavy artillery and T-26s. Many Russians grew up using this with their families for hunting, so that's why they were so good with it in battle. They were even able to make a pocket containing some of the fascist forces, including foreign troops. Just says a lot about those fascists that they would violate the non-intervention agreement so obviously. And the adventurers were fully justified in destroying them in the name of international law. Meanwhile, in the Soviet Union, the purge targeted every aspect of society, giving me these interesting choices of, do I want the awful modifier, the terrible modifier, or the atrocious modifier? After a full year of this, there are a lot of modifiers I got that can safely be said are pretty uncool. So when I get an offer to boost my tank research by working with the Germans, I hope you guys can understand why. I'm down really atrocious. It was either take this deal or live with our tank engineers just banging rocks together for an entire year. I had to choose my next 5-year plan, and the obvious option was military production, and you may be wondering how that previous 5-year plan went, and well, you see, I was close, but unfortunately, no amount of gaslighting was powerful enough to beat Stalin's delusion. So I failed, and yeah, some people had to go because of that.
Shoot her before him, but make sure he sees it. Or in this one, kill him, take him to his church, dump him in the pulpit. And I'll leave the rest up to you.
It took me a while to be able to support the Chinese because you need to do focuses to support them, and there are just so many I had to do before I felt like helping, but I made sure to support the right people, which gives them 100,000 adventurers with no affiliation with us. and hoping for the best for those boys. Not sure when this unlocked, by the way, but in March 1939, I realized that a new part of the focus tree was revealed to me that deals with some of those purge effects, which would probably be pretty useful. Unfortunately, I could not win the Spanish Civil War because despite not losing Madrid, the Republicans just surrendered. I don't know what Franco did to convince them to stop fighting. I guess he just walked up to their leadership like... Finally, got some good news for once in this campaign. Trotsky was successfully unalived. The agents even managed to get footage of his death. If you want to know the state of the Soviet army in August of 1939, I'll just say I am now able to start researching World War II doctrines. This whole time before, I was catching up with World War I stuff. But I just gotta roll with it cause Poland's getting invaded now, and there really is only one valid response we can make to such an aggressive action by Germany. I only have cav divisions to do the invasions, but they work fine. It's not like the Poles could fight me. I only have to barely march in and take some of the Eastern Territory before the Poles capitulate, and I get all my claimed land. It's time to prepare for Finland, and I have a very daring plan for my paratroopers to make this a lot easier for me. While that prepares, I'm just politely suggesting to the Baltic states that they should accept Soviet influence in their countries, starting with our military. I just kinda gotta hope for the best in Finland, because when I declare, those purge modifiers, man. The opening moves were crucial, and surprisingly, they went pretty alright. The paratroopers landed unopposed, mountaineers were breaking east, the Mannerheim line wasn't gonna be a problem for us. Despite our debuffs, the ratio of casualties for us versus Finland was pretty disgusting. So it shouldn't surprise you that Finland was begging for peace very soon afterward. And as much as I wanted Finland gone, those extra debuffs really suck, so I would just hold the event for as long as possible to farm army XP before peacing out. When Germany invaded the Western countries, France called on everybody, including us, to embargo Germany. And it's a tough choice. One side is telling me I should be against fascism and asking me why I'm even thinking about this, while the other side is promising me civs, so it's really a tough choice. But a little fascism is a small price to pay for a glorious Soviet economy. Sure, the French may be dying fast, but as the saying goes, there's no greater sacrifice than someone else's. We now have T-34's coming out, so the cooperation wasn't for nothing. But now after the fall of France and just kind of looking at where my industry is compared to the Germans, maybe a little bit nervous. Later, I see the Germans lining up on my border, and I feel fear, and I gotta mentally prepare myself for what's gonna come soon. Now, June of 41, and the Germans are definitely looking very scary. I have mediocre divisions on the border to slow down the German advance, and decent infantry on the major rivers, along with tank divisions to prevent the Germans advancing too fast. Industry-wise, we're not even close, so hopefully the vastness of the Soviet Union will consume them.
Now, who could that be? Good day, and how may I help?
Just looking at these battles and the differences between our divisions just ain't cool. The entire front line instantly shattered, and I'm just doing my best to manage the retreat so everything doesn't get overrun. I made a critical blunder in the early days. I was not expecting the industrial evacuation to cost command power, and I was thinking it was going to be trains like it was in vanilla, so you can imagine the look on my face when I realized I'd not be able to evac a lot of my industry. I was curious how my tanks compared to the Germans, and whew, no, God. So, since I was going to be losing a lot for a while, I had to go around begging for any aid that people would be willing to give me. And I was very desperate, okay? I even tried talking to people I really shouldn't have, but just look at what I was dealing with. Bro, can't even hold the swamps, holy
Oh, you get bodied in Barb.
You know, but look, I put a tank in a battle. They actually do. Oh.
Me when I lie. Oh, you're losing Riga. Uh-oh.
Wait. In August, I'm somewhat managing, slowing down the Germans while evacuating what industry I can, but anytime I feel a little bit confident, the Germans are there to immediately smash it. In October, things were slowing down again, and I could do a focus called Red Army Rebuilt. It had some good bonuses, so I thought, alright, we're about to lock in for that winter offensive. Until then, I continued to get bullied across the front. I mean, just look at their doctrine tech, and for reference, I have only researched the first World War II doctrine. In the last major push of the year, the Germans busted through Rostov and started swamping the Caucasus. But by late fall, the front line still ain't looking too bad. Now I just needed my winter offensive bonuses, and it's time to make some moves. After the entire winter season of attacking, this is the only success I managed to get against the Germans. I can't supply my units across a lot of my front line, and despite rebuilding the Red Army, my purge modifiers looked like this. In April, I discovered that apparently I was at war with Iran, for the past 4 months actually. But I guess they were gentlemen and saw that things were rough for us, so they barely pushed us. It's so frustrating how slowly you get rid of the purge modifiers though in this mod. Like, look what I'm dealing with, and look what it takes to barely reduce the modifier. In 1942, it's just full of moments where the Germans attack me and make a breakthrough. I counterattack a weak point to stop it, and the Germans just easily stop me, I lose a supply hub, and now I have to scramble to save as many divisions as possible from being overrun and encircled. 1942 is just not a good year for me. Like, I just wanted to fix the economy, then Moscow falls. And there's no way I could take it back, so I gotta look around in other places to do something. But even in open plains, my tanks really can't do much. Like, I'm struggling just to outrun and encircle infantry divisions because there's no supply out here. January 43, and the front line ain't moving that much anymore. The only significant thing that's happened is Iran joining the Axis, which the Allies will do nothing about. Once again, the only successes I can get are just sniping a few infantry divisions. Now, it may look like I'm just getting rolled constantly, and while that is true for most of this, I have been doing damage to the Germans. I mean, look at their manpower situation. They're scraping people from retirement homes and elementary schools, so it could always be worse for us. I try to make moves in the Caucasus, and honestly, I don't know what I was thinking here. Nobody has any supplies. I'm kinda stuck in an annoying situation because supply is still an issue across the entire front, and there are no easy targets. Finally, in September 1943, I am now able to completely get rid of the Army Purge modifiers. Why they make it take this long is just a real mystery. Speaking of mysterious decisions, there are focuses to spawn in tank divisions, and they deliberately made them spawn in without any equipment or manpower, making them useless to me. Now, imagine you're me, in the position I'm in, and you just got teased like that. So, there I was, feeling hopeless, stuck in my deepest, it's so over, but then I saw the Allies land in France and filling me with that feeling of, we're so back! I tried counterattacking again, but I just kept running into the same routine. Attack, run out of supplies, get counterattacked, get overrun, and contemplate what other things I could have been doing with my life. Still, I had to keep trying because eventually, one of these offensives had to work. Finally, the Germans didn't have the strength to stop my out-of-supply troops making breakthroughs. Progress was slow, but I am taking out more and more German divisions. And I'm taking a good look at that front now, and I can really feel that I'm finally gonna get the offensive that I've always dreamed about for the past few hours playing this mod. I'm gonna try and make a major push to Rostov with my tanks, and seeing that the Allies even managed to take Paris means that Germany is on the brink of collapse. I liberated Rostov, and yeah, that was basically the first major city I've liberated this campaign. Now I push forward to liberate more of my lands while the Allies are actually pushing into the German heartland. Actually, despite how long this campaign has been going, the casualties haven't even been as crazy as you'd think they'd be. I'm making good progress in the south because now I'm in areas with good supply, but in the north, not much is going on because there ain't much supply to keep the troops going. Why do the Germans want to defend this area so hard when the Allies are in the middle of Germany? Who knows? Over winter, the brave Red Army pushed the Germans north, making great progress that was unthinkable 2 years ago. Yeah, the Allies are about to take Berlin. It's a big deal, so what? I'm finally getting Moscow back. It took 4 years, but at least it's mine again. Give me this victory, alright? I've been putting up with a lot of dumb stuff this game. I haven't even been able to deploy new fighter wings because I'm in a deficit of 2 million apparently. I guess there's just portals across the Soviet Union just sucking up my planes. Doesn't matter at this point anyways because the back of the German army has been broken and I can push freely. Only a year late, but in May 1946, Germany finally capitulated, and I of course got a very fair share of Germany's land. I grabbed what I could in the peace deal, but looks like the Allies themselves forgot to take some things, and this I don't get at all, but I just don't care at this point. I'd won, and it only cost me a little bit of my sanity. Don't play this nation in black, guys. It's not fun. I did not enjoy my stay, but hopefully y'all enjoyed watching this video at least. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe for future very cool videos like this. If you want to go the extra mile to support my content, you should check out my Patreon and join the alumni. And I really appreciate any love you can give me on Patreon because support there will allow me to prioritize making quality content for the greater audience to enjoy. I'll also answer questions you ask on Patreon in the end of videos like this. Like, for example, this question from Ronald Grump asking if I'd rather be an Allied soldier on D-Day or a Soviet soldier in Stalingrad, and I don't need 5 paragraphs to answer that because it's just so obvious. D-Day, unless you're just a complete masochist, way higher chance of living. I mean, just look at the casualty difference between the two campaigns. Plus, the day-to-day life was certainly better for a soldier in France in summer than in Stalingrad during the winter. Anyways, more content coming soon, so I'll see you around later.